The clock ticked past 7 p.m. in the interrogation room of the FBI field office in San Diego. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, and the air conditioner rattled, doing little to ease the nervous tension in the cramped space. 16-year-old Emily Carter sat stiffly in a metal chair, her wrists resting awkwardly on the table. She wasn't cuffed, but the two agents across from her treated her as if she was a suspect. Agent Daniel Brooks, mid-40s, with a receding hairline and sharp, hawk-like eyes, leaned back in his chair, tapping a pen on the table. His younger partner, Agent Lisa Howard, scribbled on a yellow legal pad, occasionally glancing at Emily with a mix of curiosity and suspicion. "So," Brooks said slowly, drawing out the word, "you're telling USA Broken Bar your mom is a Navy SEAL?" Emily swallowed hard, her lips pressing into a thin line. She nodded once. "Yes, she's a broken bar. She's been deployed most of my life. She just came back." Brooks let out a sharp laugh, exchanging a look with Howard. "Kid, I don't know what you've been watching on Netflix, but women aren't SEALs. Never have been, never will be." Emily's eyes flared. "That's not true, my mama." "Sweetheart," Brooks interrupted, his tone thick with mockery, "your mom might be in the Navy, maybe she pushes papers, maybe she drives a desk, but SEALs? That's a boys' club. Always has been." Howard shifted in her seat, uncomfortable with Brooks' tone but not enough to intervene. Emily sat up straighter, her knuckles white as she clenched her fists. "She's a SEAL," Emily repeated, louder this time. "She's the best there is. She trained for years, longer than anyone. She passed every test." "Shay," Brooks cut her off with a dismissive wave of his hand. "Look, kid, I get it. You're scared. You're in a tough spot, but making up fairy tales about a superhero mom, that won't help you. This isn't a comic book. This is federal business." Emily's face burned red. She'd endured plenty of teasing at school when people found out her mom was gone on secret missions, but hearing it from a federal agent, that was too much. "She'll prove it," Emily muttered. Brooks smirked. "Oh yeah? What's she gonna do? March in here with a bunch of invisible SEALs?" "Kid, the closest your mom's been to a battlefield is probably watching CNN." Howard shifted again, frowning. Something in Emily's steady, unflinching stare unsettled her, but before she could speak, the heavy metal door creaked open. The room went silent. The arrival, a woman stepped into the doorway. She was tall, over 6 feet, in combat boots with broad shoulders and a presence that seemed to shrink the walls around her. Her sandy blonde hair was pulled into a tight bun, her jawline sharp as steel. She wore plain jeans and a fitted black t-shirt, but the way she carried herself screamed military. Behind her, 4 other figures entered. Men, each one built like stone pillars, their movements precise and disciplined. Their eyes scanned the room in synchronized sweeps, as if calculating threats. Emily's heart leapt. "Mom." Agent Brooks froze mid-smirk, his pen slipped from his fingers and clattered on the floor. The woman strode forward, calm and commanding. "Emily, you all right?" Emily nodded quickly. Brooks cleared his throat, sitting up straighter. Mama, this is a restricted area. I'm not sure who you think, but his voice faltered when the tallest of the men stepped forward, flipping open a leather badge case. The insignia gleamed under the harsh fluorescent lights. "Commander Rachel Carter, U.S. Navy SEAL Team 6, the woman said coolly, her gaze locked on Brooks. "These are my teammates. We were told my daughter was being held here. Care to explain why?" Howard's pen froze above her notepad. She looked at Brooks, her eyes wide. Brooks' face had drained of color. "You a broken bar a SEAL?" Rachel leaned forward, planting both hands firmly on the table. Her presence alone seemed to press the air out of the room. "I didn't stutter." "The reckoning." Emily beamed, her chest swelling with pride. For the first time all evening, the weight of doubt and ridicule lifted off her shoulders. Rachel's teammate Tessa, 3 men and 1 woman, stood silently behind her. Each wore plain clothes, but their military bearing was unmistakable. They weren't here to chat, they were here to make a point. Brooks tried to recover, adjusting his tie. "Well, a broken bar I wasn't aware ya." "Of course you weren't," Rachel snapped, "because we don't broadcast who we are, we don't give interviews, We don't ask for credit. We do our jobs quietly so people like you can sit in cushy offices and belittle kids for telling the truth." Brooks' jaw tightened. Sweat beaded at his temples. Howard finally spoke up. "Agent Brooks, a broken bar. Maybe we should take a step back here. Clearly, there's been some sort of broken bar misunderstanding." Rachel's sharp gaze swung toward Howard, softening only slightly. "The misunderstanding is your partner thinking he knows what the Navy does with its operators. For your record, yes, women can and do serve in Tier 1 units, but you won't find it on Google." Emily crossed her arms, her voice dripping with vindication. "Told you." The younger SEAL behind Rochla, an imposing man with a scar running down his cheek, smirked faintly at Emily's defiance. Brooks opened his mouth again, but Rachel cut him off. "Save it. You mocked my daughter. You called her a liar. Next time, think before you run your mouth about things you don't understand." Respect turned. For a long, tense moment, the room was silent. The fluorescent lights hummed. Brooks finally lowered his eyes, breaking the stare. His arrogance had melted into something unfamiliar, a shame. Howard cleared her throat softly. "Miss Cartera, Emilia, you're free to go. We're sorry for keeping you." Rachel put a protective arm around her daughter's shoulders, guiding her to her feet. The other SEALs flanked them without a word, like shadows guarding their commander. At the door, Rachel paused and looked back at Brooks one last time. "The next time a kid tells you who their parent is, maybe don't laugh. Some heroes don't wear capes, and some you'll never see coming." Then they were gone, the heavy door shutting behind them with a final, echoing clang. Epilogue. Outside the FBI building, Emily breathed in the cool night air. She felt taller, stronger, even though nothing had changed about her height. For years she'd carried the burden of keeping her mom's secret, deflecting questions, swallowing the disbelief of others. Tonight, the truth had finally spoken for itself. Rachel crouched down to meet her daughter's eyes. "You did good in there, Em. You didn't back down." Emily smiled. "Neither did you." One of the SEALs chuckled quietly. "Looks like toughness runs in the family." Rachel ruffled Emily's hair, pride gleaming in her steel gray eyes. "Damn right it does." And for the first time in a long time, Emily knew that she didn't just have a hero. For a moment she was being raised by one of the rarest warriors alive.